My grandma Maria used to say there's more than one way to skin a cat. Now, to my knowledge, Grandma never actually skinned a cat, but that was an old school saying she learned during the rough, minimalistic times of the Great Depression in the United States. Fast forward to today, we are going to take that same approach. We are not going to be skinning cats, but we're going to make a minimalistic vintage Detroit techno track using one main sound source, the FA-06, today in Techno Patio. Welcome to Techno Patio. I am your host, Raleigh from the AMX and AMX Records. Today we are looking at the FA-06 by Roland, one of the most slept on pieces of gear I've come across in the Roland arsenal. And I have to tell you, I've had mine for a little more than 11 years, but between juggling my other jobs that I do, it's really hard to take the time to really get to know your gear. So if there's anyone who's trying to get into the music space or wants to know more about how do people create Detroit techno music or minimalistic vintage Detroit techno, first thing I will tell you is get a piece of gear and learn how to use it. Freak it out, as we like to say. So one of the things we're going to look at in today's lesson is how to use some of the simple sounds that are available in the FA-06 workstation, how to assign them to a particular track, and in this case we're going to assign them to track 1, where we are going to do some devious things with the arpeggiator with it. You can start off on the FA-06 by selecting a sound of your choice, and in this case we're going to go ahead and look at some of the drums that are available. Let's go ahead and pick that tom menu, and one of the things you'll notice on the FA-06, if you select the arpeggiator button here, it takes you to a screen like this, and basically you can begin to experiment with what is available when you engage the arpeggiator. So depending on what you want to do, you can engage in it, and then you can find the sound that you like. And then we're going to go ahead, skip over to some of the neat aspects of things that you can do with the effects on the arpeggiator. Eventually, this will take you to a point where you are happy with the sound that you have selected, and you will decide that you need to go on ahead, export that loop, and in this case, I like to let my loops play out a bit longer. So sometimes instead of it being a 2-measure loop or 4-measure loop, I might take it up to 16 or 32, because depending on what you're doing with the arpeggiator and how you use these different parameters over here for the sound modification, you'll find that you'll have enough variation with what you're doing that it provides warmth, texture, and depth to the groove that you are laying. I don't want to bore you with the details, but in actuality, I spent several hours creating a sound bank of about 50 different 4, 8, and 16 measured loops of drums before I engage further with this project. The reason I like to set out a variety of different sounds that I'm going to access in advance when I'm in the groove of creating different arpeggiated grooves. I do that because when I am focused on what I'm doing in a particular way and I'm in that creative space, I want to try to maximize what I'm doing with that. Your workflow can be your workflow. You don't have to, and please don't try to copy what we do here at AMX Records, how we make our minimalistic vintage Detroit techno. But you're welcome to try out some of the things that we do and try it for yourself. So let's assume we've gone on ahead. You have a variety of different loops available at your disposal. What I like to do is I actually record each of these. I can do it internally on the FA-06, but in this case, I actually took them directly into one of the DAWs I love to use, which is the Abelton Live 12 Suite. And what I really like about it is when you pull a sample that you have created directly into Ableton, you can directly set up the groove, the sound, and everything else you'd like, utilizing your expertise on that digital audio workstation. So whether you're using Reason, Logic, FL Studio, or Ableton, it doesn't matter the DAW that you're using. Just like I told you about the music equipment, know your equipment and know the DAW and do the best that you can with what you have. Remember Grandma's saying, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And of course, we aren't skinning cats. We're continuing on with the groove. So the next step, I want to focus on this one loop that I created, this snare and tom infusion off of the FA-06. And, I did some different things with my own effects and whatnot with it. But again, this is how I get in my personal space when I'm doing things in a minimalistic way. I focus on what I can, I get that groove, and then I build the rest of my song off of that. So yes, it has the standard 909 kick drum with it, but the groove that moves this particular track is this tom loop that I created using the arpeggiator on the FA-06. Once you've set up your song the way that you would like it to go, and in this case, this particular version of this song that we are calling Learning Curve, it lasts a little more than 5 minutes long. But in any event, I've set it up, and this is the end result. You can listen to and purchase the full-length version of this song at our Bandcamp landing page, description in the link below. Thank you for joining us in this session of Techno Patio, making minimalistic vintage Detroit techno using the FA-06 as the primary sound source.